Hi, Rain. Thank you so much for coming to BizTalk. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks to you for coming. So before start talking about Multiview Media, should we give an introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Ray Meadham. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Multiview Media and one of the two co-founders in the business.
Great. So let's start giving a short but very precise pitch of Multiview Media.
Okay, so 10 years ago, I was managing artists in the music industry and hadn't discovered the Beatles. So I needed to look at ways to increase the revenue for the artists that I was managing. And myself and Alex Gibbons, the other co-founder of the company, we discovered a way of making multi-angle content much more accessible and letting fans be the director. As you can see, there are over 3 billion single angle users in the video streaming market. You're perhaps one of those people who gets frustrated when the director cuts away from the action at the critical moment. And as you can see, the continued annual growth rate of that industry is looking substantial over the next few years. And we look to be able to convert 1% of those into multi-angle users. That will make us the unicorn that we want to be. Now, there is a problem in the market. At the moment, it's a very crowded space. There are only so many cats playing pianos or people falling off roofs in the crowded single angle marketplace. And secondly, audiences are getting fed up looking at just single angles. They're switching off early. They're not paying attention or just not accessing all the content that's out there. And thirdly, we're aware that Gen Z has the attention span of the gnat, but they're also not spending money on subscription markets. So again, we're having to look at ways to improve the reach, reaction, and the revenue. So our solution is that we can take any single angle video player globally and make it multi-angle. This is unique in the marketplace, but it allows us to increase the reach. You don't have to have a new app or a new login. We can embed it within the workflow you already have, direct to your customers. So we can reach those 3 billion people. We get an increased reaction on the player, 20% longer viewer engagement. From the data that we have from the 10,000 users that have used our platform so far, we've been able to show that they spend longer engaged with the player. And finally, as we've demonstrated, we can increase the revenue. If we get that 1% of single angle market, then will certainly be a substantial return on any investment put into the business. As you can see, we've already appeared at CES. We've already delivered the platform to a variety of customers so far, and we already have developed partnerships with Dolby and AWS. And we're also servicing the music market, sports and esports, and we've just been approached by the education market. You can see that our advantage is that we're accessible. You have a mobile device, you have a laptop, you have a television. So we can provide multi-angle on all of those devices. We can even embed the technology in VR and the metaverse. We said about the 20% longer viewer engagement. That's attracting a lot of CMOs and CTOs. Because there are more camera angles, we can generate more data. The AI tells you what cameras you've watched, how long you've engaged with those. So that's changing the way that technology and production companies are making content. And finally, we can create more real estate for brands to be embedded in. So again, no adverts, but they're in shot all the time. So here's an example of our product. So basically the camera angles are down the side and you're able to switch between the different camera angles when you want to. You can have a grid view or you can have just the full screen of one single angle. We have a VOD platform, a multi-angle Netflix. You can choose from the library, pay what you want to view, and then watch the concert on your device. We have the unique Jumbotron in your hand. So if you're at Silverstone, you can watch the cars go all the way around the track. Or if you're at a music festival, switch between the stages. So this is something that a lot of organisations now are looking how to increase their reach, reaction and revenue using this technology. And the unicorn part of our business is that we can synchronise mobile phone cameras together to create a multi-angle TikTok. So this is something that will really revolutionize the way content is generated in the future and help us to achieve that unicorn status. We've already got clients lined up. Robbie Williams, we're working with to repackage his iconic Nebworth show. We've been approached by South by Southwest to work with the BBC to stream content in multi-angle. The first time that would have been done at South by Southwest. Silverstone is already a customer using our technology, and we're installing the Jumbotron in your hand. And we work with video players such as Brightcove, whose clients include Adobe, Theo Technologies, whose clients include CNN, and Bitmoving, whose clients include Formula One. We recently presented the product to Comcast. Disney already have it on evaluation at the moment, following us meeting them at IBC. And we were approached by the European Broadcast Union to put together a package for the Eurovision Song Contest. So you can see that we're already starting to show some substantial clients and market penetration going into 2023. But don't take my word for it. These are some of our customers and some of the comments that they've made on our behalf. As I said, we've been featured at CES, London Tech Week, and in multiple magazines. So we have a substantial PR profile already in the industry. I'm surrounded by some of the best people in the industry. I spoke to you about Alex, the co-founder, who's already a qualified developer, but we also have Lee Lam, the ex-COO of Barclays. She's advising us on our financial and operations part of the business. Kelly Richards is ex-director of Apple. She worked directly with Steve Jobs in developing the iTunes. And Ty Roberts is co-founder of Gracenote, the founders of the metadata that Apple use. So again, I'm surrounded by C-suite people to advise me as we grow the business into the major world. We do have competitors in our space. YouTube and TikTok are single angle, but they are affordable, but only single angle. VR is more expensive in terms of content capture and delivery. Phoenix and Kisway are competitors of ours, but again, they are expensive because you have to go to their app to be able to access the content. Because we can take our technology to all 3 billion people, that's why we're affordable and accessible. Our business model. We have a SaaS model already working with Brightcove and other video platforms. So again, a monthly SaaS figure is generating a substantial return. And the B2B we have with Silverstone, or B2C that we have with Robbie Williams, allows us to be able to take a percentage of any subscription and AVOD models. So we have both of these programs underway with clients at the moment. So we're looking to raise £500,000 of EIS approved equity. That will generate 500,000 users and would give us a return of over £3 million within the first 12 months. The funds will be used to expand in-house developers because that would reduce our third-party costs, increase our sales and marketing team at Silverstone to be able to develop the markets in USA and India, which we're already being approached by, and as I said, to expand our marketing budget. So if you want to unlock those 3 billion people, then we look forward to you investing in our company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray. What's the difference between multi and one single angle? Because not everyone is familiar in this sector. What exactly is the difference, and how it's improved, and how strong can be the value proposition in doing so?
Yeah, so at the moment, if you're wanting to watch, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton racing against Sebastian Vettel, you're at the behest of the director. But with multi-angle, you're the one who can switch between a variety of different camera angles. So if you wanted to stay with Hamilton and Verstappen, you could stay with that angle, but somebody else could then switch between other angles. So it creates a much more user controller rather than just one person's idea of what you need to watch. Let's say, for instance, in music, you want to watch the drummer or the guitarist or the keyboard player. You get to be able to do that much longer, whereas at the moment, most of the directors will just stick with Taylor Swift or the lead singer or the crowd or whatever. So that's how this operates.
For doing so, you provide also the camera?
We can do. We work with the camera operators. We work with companies like Newtek and Sony who make the cameras. We work with Grass Valley and LiveView who provide the streaming technology out on site. So we can do a complete end-to-end stream, which is what we're doing for Silverstone. But some companies like Comcast, they will just provide us with the broadcast feed from what they're already capturing to go on the single angle channels, but they'll just give us more opportunity to access some more of those camera angles.
So they provide you all the angles from and from a normal platform, this cannot be able to capture all of them, but from your platform it is.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody like Formula One at Silverstone, they have 170 camera angles. We're not going to stream you 170 camera angles onto your mobile phone. That's just not feasible. But what we would do is probably give you between 4, 6, or 8, and you can then switch between those. But they will be the most accessible and interactive experience that you're not getting at the moment.
So your clients are, you have B2B clients, but after the consumers, the people coming on your platform are B2C, I suppose.
Yeah, so we're starting off with B2B and SaaS because obviously it's easier to jump on a moving train. So Bright Cove can resell the product onto its clients and make a multi-angle marketplace. We're working with broadcasters so that we're getting content to be able to be created in that format. Ultimately, the user-generated version, a multi-angle TikTok or a multi-angle YouTube, we could make TikTok multi-angle, or we can make our own multi-angle version that we then take TikTok out of the market. So there's 2 different routes that we can take in terms of the technology. So yeah, that's the beauty about the process.
I mean, excluding these big guys as competitors, because the one you mentioned are pretty big, do you have anyone now trying to do something similar in a small sites?
No, I mean, Sky Sports have a multi-angle player and they've had it for a long time, but you can only watch it on Sky Sports. It's not something that is accessible to everybody else because of the way they've built it. So the way that we do our technology is the fact that I can take any single angle video player and make it multi-angle. That makes it more accessible. So that's really why we've reversed engineered it that way around, rather than go, let's build Multiview Media and try and get 3 billion people to come to Multiview Media. That's never going to happen, and I don't have the budget to do that. But if I can make Netflix multi-angle, if I can make Comcast multi-angle, I'm starting to generate a multi-angle ecosystem. And then when we push out the user-generated version, we then can control that part of the market.
In terms of traction today?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got £150,000 worth of business in Q4 so far, and we expect to clear 1 million before Christmas in terms of revenue. We already have signed agreements with single angle video companies like Bright Cove and Theo that I talked about. And obviously we've got agreements in terms of South by Southwest lined up for March and into 2023. So yeah, we already have revenue coming in. We already have contracts for next year, and we're starting to build the traction from there onwards.
This is SaaS service, okay? But how does it work with the B2B and the B2C? Because I presume in the B2C, they come to the platform, they pay for using the platform, they're working, like, for example, let's say I do indeed sometimes with Netflix, but what about the B2B?
Yeah, so B2B, we work with, say, for instance, Silverstone. We're providing them with a Silverstone player. So when you go to Silverstone, it will be their player that will be multi-angle, be branded as Silverstone's player, and we will provide them everything they need to get content to that player. So that can include cameras, encoding, cloud. I mean, I'm even having to help them get 5G built at the site to deliver the technology. So a B2B client is a slightly bigger thing than jumping on a SaaS client, or somebody like Robbie Williams, who's B2C. He's just given us the video content from Nebworth. We then put that on the platform, and then we provide him with an iframe that will sit back on his website, and he can sell that to his clients. So that's a much easier than, as I say, doing the B2B.
Of course. But do you get any part of the income from Robbie Williams?
Yeah, so we basically negotiate anywhere between 5% and 20% of the subscription value that they get for that show. And also we get a percentage of the advertising revenue if we bring the brands into it, or if there is advertising that's embedded within the videos. Because I can add, say, for instance, a new brand into that video that was never there when it was created. So using AR and technology, we can put a brand in the background that was never there. So you can have Monster Energy, Red Bull, Coca-Cola plastered all over the back of the stage, but it was never there when Robbie Williams shot the original video. So we can rebrand things that way, which is really good, and technology likes that.
In terms of around you're raising 500K, how are you going to use this money?
Yeah, so primarily it's to get in-house developers so that we can meet the demand, because obviously each client wants almost to have their own personal service, or we can't deliver that. But we can certainly have a developer in-house who can deliver the technology because it's built, it's already coded, and it's ready to be used. But there's some interactions that need to happen for different clients. So the in-house developer would mean that we don't have to use so many third-party companies in terms of delivery. So we're increasing our revenue and increasing that return. And sales and marketing, we're getting approached by America and India as two really big growth markets. And so we need a sales and marketing team who can actually service those. With a small team of people that we have, we can't obviously deal with some of the bigger clients who are approaching us yet.
But what's the market?
So in terms of the market, as I say, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, the video streaming market. And because we're creating a multi-angle version of what's already there, we've sort of set that 1% as a benchmark. But who knows? We could increase that dramatically in terms of the market strength, because I think there is a demand to get away from single angle, and because people aren't always confident in VR at the moment. That's not so good. We've just seen the cryptocurrency market start to have jitters as well. So there's lots of things that people have jumped on that haven't quite been as easy to access as they thought they would be. This is so simple because I can just make single angle, multi-angle, and we own that technology. So we've got the engine that can change 3 billion people's viewing habits.
That's the overall market. Where do you have most retraction today? In Europe, in US? Where the users are coming from now?
USA is primarily, the biggest video platforms are in America, the biggest marketplaces. 5G is more adopted in America. A lot more content is created in America. So we're seeing that become, the sort of mainstay of what we're being approached from American companies. But we did a trade visit with India recently, and we've had the IPL cricket want to be involved. We've got Bollywood want to be involved in making movies in that format. So India is becoming another big growth market. So I think, just those two alone would be more than enough to keep us busy for a while.
I do believe India can be very much another big, huge market for you. Even probably more than US, if not more equal. What's your vision for the company? Today it's pretty clear what you're doing, but you're an entrepreneur and you have your vision. Where would you like to go? Okay, except for be 1 billion company.
Yes, I think we want to obviously look to be the market leader in that space. We want to create multi-view music, multi-view esports, multi-view education. So we end up having subsidiary companies that are focused in each of the core areas so that we can service those. We want to become a multi-angle production company. We want to make multi-angle content. We want to own the content. If you look at the Netflix of this world and the Amazons of this world, they make the content and they own it. So it makes sense for us to do that. There is an exit strategy, and obviously the Amazons, the Apples, we already have a connection with those companies. So we've already kind of started to be on their radar, even as a startup. Hopefully in 7 years' time or 5 years' time, if there is an exit strategy and they want to be involved, then we'd certainly review that. But the plan is to be the biggest multi-angle deliverer and to be a multi-angle YouTube. That's really where we'd like to be.
Which are the most viewed video on your platform? Where do you see the trend going the most? Probably music, I don't know, movie?
Esports. Esports is by far the biggest demand. Twitch is the only sort of platform that's servicing the esports world at the moment, and people are getting disillusioned by that marketplace because it doesn't offer them the interactivity that gamers want. So we're seeing that that's become very much part and parcel of that. I think talking to Comcast and NBC, it looks as though sport is going to go down that route, that they realise that there is a demand for multi-angle in certain sports. It hasn't taken off with English football, but it's certainly taken off with the NFL. It's certainly taking off with other sports, in motorsports especially. So I think there is, we did a pitch with NASCAR, and they got it 100% that they could see how it would work with in-car cameras and around the track cameras and broadcasting. So I think that there is that market. But esports is really kind of a growth area at the moment, because gamers really want to see game view, player view, different views, and they want to interact with that, and they can't do that at the moment.
Ray, thank you so much for coming to BizTalk. It's been a very great pleasure for me. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. No, thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate the time.